Welcome to PartsWatch Training. In this lesson, we'll take a look at the Accounts Payable export. And since this feature was created mainly for QuickBooks, you'll hear that package mentioned a lot. But if you're using a different accounting software, and after watching the whole video, if you're not sure whether the export will work for you, contact your salesperson or support rep. Okay, so simply stated, accounts payable is money owed by a company to its vendors. So starting in the purchasing module, a purchase order is created, the order arrives, and the parts are received into stock. At PO receipt, the total cost of goods received is available to the AP export feature. Then when the vendor invoice arrives, the amount charged can be compared against the received amount and either approved for payment or disputed first. So this procedure of comparing the quantities and cost on the vendor's invoice to the product ordered and the actual quantities received is referred to as the accounts payable three-way match. And as you can guess, it's an important step in safeguarding your assets. So let's start by looking at the one-time setup on the Controls Store Information screen under the GL Export tab. The AP prefix is the name the export file begins with, so you can find the file after the export. If I were multi-store, I might name it AP Store 1 to identify the file per store, or AP Daily Export for single store, but just AP is good, so I know it's my AP export file. After the prefix, the system adds the date of the export, then the time in 24-hour format, so each export name is unique. Next, click the Export Directory button and select where the export file will be copied to. I made a new file off my C drive, so all my exports will be kept in one place. The AP type field determines whether the export will be output as a .csv file for Excel or a .iif file for QuickBooks. The Account button opens a window to enter the GL accounts needed for the AP process. It defaults to the QuickBooks default accounts, but can be changed as needed. And it's important, make sure the values here match the ones in your accounting software. Now, if you're multi-store, while we're in the Store Information screen, under the Store Information tab is the company code field that's used to identify each store for the export. The system puts the value of this field in the class code field in the export, so QuickBooks knows what store the payables are coming from. So enter your store name or number, whichever is needed for your accounting package, in this field, and if it's left blank, the class code in the export file will also be blank. Okay, next let's go to the vendor supply, main supplier entry screen and enter the AP account name or number used by each supplier. And if you're using QuickBooks, this name must be identical to the supplier used in the QuickBooks payables, or the import will not be successful. And since freight can be tracked for AP, if freight is auto-applied from the freight cost amount or percent set up on the supplier order specific screen, it'll be tracked with the order and available for AP export. And if freight is entered on the PO info screen, that freight will also be tracked with the order and available with your payables. Now, each time a purchase order is received into stock, it's added to the AP export screen. And each time a new return PO is removed from stock, and each time a core, warranty, battery, or new return buyout manifest is closed, it will also be added to the AP export screen. And now, assuming we've already gone through the steps of receiving orders to stock or closing returns, we're ready to go to the Accounts Payable export screen. So from the menu, Closeouts, AP Export. In order to make approving each order or credit for export easier, the rows that display can be filtered by supplier and by the start and end receive dates. A 90-day limit is put on the orders that are displayed. So if you have any that were received or removed from stock more than 90 days ago, they should be entered directly in your accounting software. Or you can enter a PO number to find just that PO. or filter by status to just see all buy and return payables, only those approved, only those with errors, or only those checked. We'll see what all this means in a bit. So once an order is in the screen, 2 parts of the AP three-way match are done. The product was ordered and received, and now it's time to make sure the invoice reflects the correct amount. Small checkboxes to the left of each row can be used to check or uncheck rows. This makes it easy to select multiple rows to approve for export or to delete. The small checkbox in the header row checks all and unchecks all rows. If your payables package allows the same invoice number to be imported across multiple orders, check each row and enter the invoice number or invoice date and click the Apply button. Any orders in the grid that are checked will be updated with that date or invoice number, and of course, any unchecked will not be. If your payable package does not allow the same invoice number to be imported for more than one PO, enter the invoice number and date directly in the grid for each order. Or if there are multiple rows with the same invoice number and date, you can delete all the rows except one and enter the total of all the deleted rows to the one row and approve that one. And remember, all of the PO detail is stored in the PADI report and is available at any time, even if the order is deleted from this screen. And then, to complete the three-way match, compare the cost from the order with the cost on the invoice. If different, the cost field can be edited. And if the supplier gives a discount on their invoice, that can be entered here. This is not a prompt payment discount. That should be taken in your accounting package when you run your checks. And earlier, we talked about auto calculation and manual entry of freight. It'll show in this field. Or if needed, it can be added or edited here. Then when a row is complete, right-click and select Approve. Or check the row and click Approve. Or check multiple rows before clicking Approve to approve a number of rows at the same time. Now, if an invoice date or invoice number field is blank on a row that's being approved, the system will post an error on that row. This is to prevent payables from being exported without the vendor's invoice number or date. So, simply enter the missing value and the error will be removed and the row will be approved. Besides Approve, right-click to unapprove a row that shouldn't have been approved, or to delete a row, or to open the PO in the PADI report to see the PO detail. Right-click to PADI opens the report screen with the filter set to report that PO. So click the Display, Preview, or Print button to output the report. Then close the PADI screen to return to the AP Export screen. And if you edit any rows and want to leave the screen, click the Update button to save the changes. Or click Close and the system will prompt whether to save the changes or not. The last date and time the export was run displays in the bottom left of the screen, and to the right is a total of the rows approved for export, the total of the rows that display from the selected filters, and the total of all POs regardless whether filtered, approved, checked, or unchecked, that have not been deleted or exported. And it's the same with the credits. The View Previous Exports button provides a list of exports by date, so that if the exported file is accidentally deleted or not found for any reason before importing into the accounting package, it's available for re-export. If the same export date is again re-exported, the earlier file is overwritten without any indication that the file already exists in the designated directory. So click the Preview or Print buttons to output a report of the approved orders that will be exported. And once all rows that should be included in the export are approved, click the Export button to initiate the export. A prompt opens to show the totals of the payables being exported and to make sure you want to continue. Hit OK, and Parts Watch tells you when it's done. And just a quick look at the export file. So let me go to my C drive, and here it is. And let's open it in Excel. And this is what it looks like saved in a .iif format for QuickBooks. And now the only step left is for you to go to your accounting package and import the files. Once successfully imported, since the files are not automatically removed from the directory, be sure to manually delete the imported files so there's no chance of re-importing them. And we're done. If you have any questions and don't find the answers in F1 Help, then contact customer support for assistance. And thanks for watching.